Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to come to our meeting today. Today's topic is going to be about international business etiquette. As I'm sure most of you do know, we will be sending a few of our employees out to Spain in a couple of weeks, and we just kind of want to prepare you guys for that in order to ensure that the business deal goes the best that it can. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about today is attire. Obviously, it's a very important thing. It's the first thing that people are going to see when you meet with them. And most of you probably picked up this flyer when you walked in. We're going to be looking at this chart right here, right now. And then on the back side, there's a meeting checklist that we'll be going over in a little bit. So the first thing, obviously, is it has to be business attire. There's no jeans or shorts or anything like that. Shorts are actually frowned upon. They're not a very popular item that people wear in Spain. They're not really worn in public, especially not for business. For business, you need to make sure the guys have a tie on, nice slacks, things like that. Try to keep it more neutral colors. Bright colors aren't always a good idea. Standing out is really not a good thing in Spain. You kind of want to blend in more so than actually stand out. Anything revealing, ladies, is not appropriate. You need to make sure that it's not low cut, it's not too tight, it's appropriate. Also, big jewelry and things like that, again, it makes you stand out. Not something that's really appropriate. So again, this chart that you picked up is just kind of an overview of everything that we just went over, just kind of a reminder for yourself if you forget anything that we just talked about. Also, another thing to keep in mind, guys, is if you are wearing a jacket over your dress shirt, make sure that if the person you're meeting with is wearing one, you don't take yours off until they do. It's the proper thing to do. If they have a jacket on, you have one on too. If they take it off, that means it's okay for you to take it off too. The next thing we're going to be going over today is greetings. Obviously, another very important thing. Once they see you, you're going to greet each other. So for when you meet with a person the first time, it's very simple. Just a handshake will do. So just make sure that obviously when you first meet the person, you shake their hand. Anytime a meeting that you guys are having together concludes, you shake hands as well. You may see that other people do greet each other more intimately, but that is not something that's appropriate in the business world, especially if you don't know someone. People that do know each other, you may see guys giving more of a hug, and women also kissing each other slightly on the cheek. But again, that's only if you do know somebody. It's not something that you go around doing to everyone that you are greeting. As far as communication goes, it's another important thing. Most people that you come into contact with over in Spain will be able to talk English with you. If you don't feel comfortable with that, though, or you just want to make sure, you can always get a translator that will come along with you. But like I said, it's not necessary, just something that you can do if you'd like to. As far as documents, make sure that you have everything in English and in Spanish. Don't give them anything that's just in English or anything just in Spanish. Obviously, you have to take the time to properly have it translated into Spanish for them. And any documents you do hand to them, make sure that you do give it to them with the Spanish side facing up. Again, just shows that you've taken the time and consider it, the fact that Spanish is going to be their predominant language. So just make sure that all documents are in both. Obviously, with any business meeting you go to, you need to make sure that you are on time. You don't want to have the client that you're meeting with waiting around for you. You would much rather you be waiting than having them waiting. Time isn't really that big of a concern to people in Spain as far as themselves. They will try to make an effort to make it on time, but if something comes up or something like that where they're not going to be able to, they're not going to stress about it. If they're 5-10 minutes late, that's just how it's going to be. But you don't want that same mentality for yourself. You don't want them waiting for you for 10 minutes. It's a bad impression on the business. makes it look like you don't really care, that you're not taking it serious, meeting with them. So just make sure you're on time. If anything, leave a few minutes early, leave an extra 10 minutes early. There are things that can come up where you're not going to be able to control. If there's a lot of traffic that day, or there's an accident out there that's going to make it longer for you to get there, you have to plan for these things. Just leave a little bit early, give yourself time. You'd rather be there 5-10 minutes early than 10 minutes late. So, again, just make sure, leave on time, get there on time, show that the business deal does matter to you, that you care about it, that you are taking the time to be there on time and be prepared for them. Most of the time when you are meeting with somebody in Spain, it will be over a meal. Most likely dinner, lunch sometimes, but dinner is a big thing. A lot of business deals happen over dinner, but just keep in mind also that the first time you meet with someone, it likely is not going to be about business that much. People in Spain like to get to know the person they're doing business with before they actually make a contract or things like that. They kind of want to get to know you at a personal level before they actually sign contracts and things like that. They may ask about your family, they may ask what your hobbies are, things like that. Just make sure you're open with talking about that and conversing with them. And don't hesitate to ask them questions. They're not going to hesitate to ask you. Don't be shy. If you want to know about their family, they're asking about yours, go ahead and ask about theirs. They're more than welcome. They're more than willing to talk about their family. It's a big thing to them. Their family's a big thing to them. Religion is a big thing to them. That's another thing to keep in mind, is make sure that everything you're talking about is appropriate. Inappropriate comments and jokes and things like that, especially when it comes to religion, is not something that is going to go over well with someone in Spain. The religion is very important to them. Many people in Spain do practice religion, so make sure that you keep any jokes or comments or things like that to yourself, especially if there's a chance of offending someone, because that's the last thing that we want to do. We don't want to offend anybody. We just want to show the best possible side of ourselves, of our business, and things like that, to make sure that everything goes as smooth as possible. Another thing to keep in mind is, if you are meeting for dinner, try to take a nap during the day. Dinner normally starts late. Obviously, most of our restaurants here close around 10 or 11 at night. For them, and people in Spain, that's when it's first starting for them. That's when restaurants are getting busy. That's when business is picking up. So make sure you try to sleep during the day. They do have a little nap hour. Not that everything shuts down like a lot of people think, but it's a time for people where if they want to go rest, they can go rest and things like that. There's still stuff kept open, but a lot of people do go and rest during that time, just because staying up is such a big thing. Like I said, dinner normally doesn't start till 10 or 11 at night. It can go until 2 or 3 in the morning. So you want to make sure you're prepared for that you can stay up, you're not tired, you're not yawning the whole time. You're able to converse with them the entire time that you're meeting with them and not acting all tired and things like that. You don't want to rush anything. Keep it at the pace of that. If they want to talk about other things first, talk about other things first. Make sure that they know that they are the priority, that this is a business deal and that we do care about their business. We do want to make the best effort to make it work and things like that. So, again, take a nap during the day. Make sure you can stay up late at night. You never know. It may not go that late, but it's better to be prepared than to be tired all night. Even when you are meeting with someone during dinner, don't expect to get a decision that second. Don't expect that things are going to be over and done with the first time you meet with them. Business deals, obviously, as we know, do take time, but people in Spain don't want to feel rushed. They want to be able to take their time making decisions and not have to rush into something that, maybe they're not sure about. Maybe they have a lot of questions for us, which obviously we're happy to answer. We don't want to rush them. We want them to feel comfortable with us. We want them to feel comfortable with our business. and things like that. If there is any kind of evidence that you're trying to rush them, it'll likely turn the deal bad. People in Spain aren't going to want to do business with us if they feel that we are going to rush them all the time and not take into consideration. That's how they do things. They take time in making decisions, which is fine. We would rather them take time to make a decision and make what is right for them, whether it's with our company or not. Obviously, we want it to be with our company, but we need a best fit for everybody. Don't rush things. Make sure that things fall into place, that they fit where they need to be. Go along with the flow of the meeting, okay? Take time in everything that you're doing over there. If a business deal is not made while you're over there, that's fine. You know that you gave your best effort, and we can still converse with them even if we're not face-to-face. There's many ways to do that, obviously. We have email, video conferencing, webinars. There's many ways to make sure that we can close this business deal in the way that we would like it to. Now we are going to go back to the handout that you got when you came in the door. On the other side of the chart we were looking at earlier, there is a business meeting checklist, and that is what we are going to be going over right now. Just a few simple things that, regardless of where you are, what country you're in, if it's here in the United States, if it's over in Spain, if it's a different country, just simple things that you need to follow while you are doing business negotiation. The first one is make sure you clean the area that you were sitting in before you leave. You don't want to go to a meeting or go to dinner with somebody and leave a mess at the end. It's not a good image. It just makes it look like you're lazy, you're sloppy, you don't care about things around you. So just make sure, any crumbs or any empty water bottles, soda cans, things like that are picked up before you leave. Participate actively. Show that you do care about the business deal, that you are there to answer any questions they have. Just sitting there kind of quiet is going to give off the image that you don't care, that you would rather be doing something else, that you're bored, that you're tired, things that a business should not portray to another one, especially during negotiation. Turn off your cell phone. I know a lot of us have cell phones and things like that on us all the time, a lot of electronics. Make sure that they're off. We don't want our cell phones going off, our iPods turning on, or something like that. Make sure that all electronics are off. If possible, leave them back at the hotel. Obviously, we all carry our cell phones with us most of the time. That's fine. Again, just make sure it's turned off. There's nothing worse than being in the middle of an important conversation and somebody's cell phone was off. Make sure that it's off. Make sure you listen attentively. You don't want someone to continually be repeating themselves or something like that. Make sure you're listening. Don't ask them a question about something that they've already answered. Just make sure you listen. But by following these above rules or checklists, you make sure that you come off in the most positive way that you can. It shows you're interested in furthering business negotiations. And as long as you go with the flow of the meeting, you'll show that you're interested in the client. Another thing we're going to discuss this morning is gifts. Obviously not something that we have to do. If you feel it's appropriate, go ahead and do it. But again, you need to know when it's appropriate and when it's not. You're not going to go meet somebody for the first time and give them a gift. Or in the middle of negotiations, give them a gift. It's just going to come off as if you're bribing them. That's not something that we want to do. We want this to be about business, and any gifts that are given are just showing appreciation. They're not being given as bribes. If you do go to dinner or lunch at a Spaniard's home, it's definitely appropriate to bring a gift. Doesn't have to be anything big, anything expensive. Office type items, items for a person's desk at work, paperweight or something like that, definitely appreciated, definitely appropriate. Wine is also another appropriate gift to bring. If they have children, you can bring a little something for them, a little toy for them. You don't have to, but it is appreciated. But like I said before, just make sure that it's appropriate time. If it's not, you could definitely ruin the business deal by giving off the wrong image, that we just buy our customers and things like that. Alright, and to conclude today's meeting, we're just going to go over a few of the things that we have. We want to project the best image of our company. So make sure that you follow the things that we've gone over. Dress appropriately, nothing flashy, no big jewelry, just neutral colors, nice business suit, pants, things like that. Make sure all documents that you're bringing with you are both English and Spanish, with the Spanish side being the one facing the Spaniards when you're giving it to them. Make sure clothes are ironed, things like that. Make sure that you are prepared for business meetings that could possibly go into the early morning. Take naps during the day in order to prepare yourself for that. And by making the most of this trip. And again, some of the stuff that we've gone over today is just the basis of what there is out there. There's a lot more time that can be spent on learning about other cultures, which if you are chosen to go to Spain to represent our company, we would definitely encourage that you do. There's tons of sites out there, websites, there's magazines and things like that. Just find out what's appropriate. Find out more things that are okay to do, okay to wear, things that aren't okay to do, aren't okay to say, things like that. Just make sure that you portray the best image of our company that you can. Well, thank you all for coming out this morning, and you have a good rest of the day.